Hi, everybody. I'm Candid Frank Stanisci, and this, of course, is NLL Lacrosse Talk. Welcome to the Spanglish World Network on Zingo TV, Channel 250. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app at the respective app stores for iOS and Android devices. While you download, make sure you rate and leave a comment. Both apps are absolutely free. Zingo TV is available on Google, Chromecast, Amazon Fire, Fire TV sticks, Roku sticks, and also on all smart TVs 2016 forward. Now on NLL Lacrosse Talk, of course, my co-host here, Gary Groob, and a very special guest in Marshall Powless of the Albany Firewolves of the National Lacrosse League. Marshall, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure, and thank you for taking the time to be here. The usual question we ask, we like to start with how players pick up sticks or people pick up the game of lacrosse. How did you do your thing?
For me, it was more of a family thing, and it's always been like that, even with my younger cousins and younger siblings too. So, usually it starts in the backyard. Family get-together is probably the biggest thing. We all eat, then we run outside and have a big lacrosse game, and it's all the way from the youngest cousins just barely able to walk, holding a stick and getting involved in the game, all the way to us older siblings and cousins to get the game going and make it more fun and interesting. So I guess you could say I kind of got the stick in my hands ever since I was able to walk. But I guess I didn't start playing in a league until I was about 4 years old. But I would say I started probably about two or three of actually doing the basics of picking up the ball, passing, catching, stuff like that.
Yeah, that sounds good. I guess the next question is, what's kept you in the game? What do you love about lacrosse and playing it?
It's just always been a sport that I always it was actually probably one of the only ones I ever played. I only played hockey 1 year, and then I did like archery and boxing for like a few years. But lacrosse has always been my main priority. And on Six Nations Reserve, it's probably like the main sport, especially in the summertime. It's pretty rare that some kids will play baseball or soccer, basketball, stuff like that. It's usually everyone just plays lacrosse. So it's just always been something that I was interested in, and I feel like I excelled in it. So I guess wanted to make it as high as I could with the game of lacrosse.
Well, now that we know it's the creator's game and your game, Gary, you wanna ask him some questions?
Sure. Now, growing up on the res, of course, you played it in school as well, right?
Yeah.
And I know you worked your way up through the junior ranks, Junior C with the Warriors, Wallaceburg, Six Nation Rebels, and Junior B. Let's talk about some of those programs and working your way up. Let's start with the Warriors in Junior C. Your first kick at really moving your way forward towards an NLL goal.
Yeah, so I guess that was my first year. I was a little bit small. Um, on the reserve, it's a lot of political stuff, so I didn't make the Rebels, and so instead of taking the year off, I just figured I might as well play junior C, and I had a lot of friends on that team anyway, so I was like, well, might as well just use this season to get better, have fun, and just enjoy my time. So I did the best I could, and our team actually, I think we went into like the second round of playoffs or something and got beat. But it was just a fun year. Kind of gave me a little bit more confidence within my game as well to carry the ball and all that, to be a little bit more confident with my game. But yeah, that season was really really fun. But it kind of helped me get into playing against bigger guys, especially at that age when you're just coming into junior, you're playing against people that are 5 years older than you, 4 years older than you. So especially junior C, I probably gotten like 3 or 4 fights that year. So it was it was a pretty rough year. But
Boxing came back into it's a good thing you took boxing.
yeah, that's exactly why I took boxing.
Mm.
Let's talk about some of the coaches that you had in just for junior C alone, just to get you with that flavor and to help you start playing against guys bigger than you and teaching you.
Yeah, I think I had a coach. His name was Jay Smith, and he was a good coach. He was just really kind of taught the basics and made sure everybody was playing as a team. It was a really team guy. So I kind of give him a good little shout out and have a lot of respect for him because he taught me to be a team guy and to involve everybody. And so that's the way we played that year. Is everyone got their touches and stuff like that. So it was really good. And
Right. Then you move on the next year. You went up to Wallaceburg, played with the Red Devils. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so that was a fun year. My brother Sid, he was playing the Rebels the year I was playing Junior C, and they traded him halfway through the season to Augsburg. He played the rest of his season out there. So the next year, I asked him what he planned to do, like if we were going to go try out for the Rebels again, or if he had plans of going back. So he told me that he wanted to go back to Augsburg and play there again. So I said, all right, sure, like I'll come with you. And then my older brother Johnny coached us that year as well in Wallaceburg. So like all three of us were out there, and it was really fun. I made a lot of great friendships out that way that I still keep in contact to today. So
Mhm.
it's just I really think lacrosse is a really great sport because it connects you to people all over the place where you wouldn't usually go or you wouldn't even usually be friends with. So I still go out there every now and then, pretty much every year. Try to make it out there one time and go visit some of the coaches and players that I had out that way, and reconnect with them, go golfing with them, and just hang out. So yeah, that year was a really good year. It was actually I think we broke a couple of records that year with the Red Devils. I think we had a really good offense, and it was I can't remember if we broke the most scoring they've had in franchise history or something like that. But it was something to be cool to be a part of, anyways. So
Right.
we had about 6 or 7 guys from Six Nations go out there and play. So it was good to kind of have a mixture of hometown guys, but then also a majority of them from way out there playing with us. So it was pretty fun. It was a good experience.
Right. Right. And I agree with what you're saying because it's also media and fans alone. Lacrosse is probably the tightest knit group that I have ever been a part of. Yeah, we hate each other for 60 minutes, but we're at each other's christenings, weddings. Anybody has a real problem, the whole community comes around to help. So the only community I've ever seen like that, lacrosse community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally agree.
Now, the Six Nation Rebels you talked about before, through the political stuff you didn't get on. Your third year junior, you get there.
Mm-hmm.
And let's talk about it. You finally in, and away we go.
Yeah, so a majority of that team was actually supposed to be moving up to junior A. Like we all planned to move up to junior A for
Mhm.
that year. And when we were in, I think it might have been training camp or even I think it was training camp. They traded away Justin Martin, who he plays for Toronto now.
Yep.
They traded him away, and we all grew up really really close together. So he's a close cousin of mine. But when they did that, like they didn't really tell anybody. They just kind of traded him without letting even him know. So it was like he only found out through Twitter, and it was kind of like a slap in the face. And my brother
Yeah.
Johnny was supposed to be coaching that year too, and as soon as he found that out, he's like, "Oh, like I didn't know anything about that." And he said, "It's gonna be up to you guys whether you want to play A this year or whatever you guys want to do." And so we kind of talked about it. I think there's about 8 or 9 of us that were really close. And so we asked Justin what he wanted to do, if he was going to go play with the beaches or what. And he just wanted to play around home. So he said, yeah, like let's just play for the Rebels. So we all moved back down and played with the Rebels, and we had a really really good year. I think we should have won,
You had
but
a really, really good year. You
yeah,
had something like 150 points in 20 games or something like that. Just a little mediocre year, right?
yeah. No, it was
What you did that year was have all the NLL teams start taking notice of Marshall Powless. Is what they did.
Yeah. It was a good year. I can't take all the credit though. We had a lot of great players on the offensive end, and what made us so good was it was just a friend group that we grew up playing with, and so every time we'd have like birthdays and stuff like that, we'd be outside in the backyard, and it was just kind of like trying out new things, throwing backhands, throwing one-handed passes, this and that, and that just all transitioned to our game. So when we were able to do it with the Rebels, playing for Junior B, it made our team so much more stronger because the goalies, the teams that we were playing didn't really know how to react to how we were playing, I guess. So it was something that we were I guess you could say preparing for our whole lives.
Yeah.
It was just really 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 fun. And that was probably my favorite year of lacrosse I've ever played because I had all my close friends, my older brother, and he had all his close friends playing with us too. So it was just a fun year altogether.
Yeah, it's funny how you talk about the goalies didn't have a chance to figure out what you're doing. I watched that in the 2017 Minto Cup in the Arrows and that All-Star team then with Stotts and Nanakoke, and the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
And the style that was played, and it's on the res most of the time, is dropping the cutters lower, dropping your back guys a little further back, splitting up everything in there, and nobody knew how to react, let alone the backhand shots and passes and things like that. That is just a normal, everyday thing with you guys, just the way you practice. It's not a showboat thing. It's another tool to use because it changes the direction of your shot, changes the angle, and especially in tighter quarters, especially now NLL, wherever you can get the shot, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what my dad always told me too. He said, like when he was teaching me the backhand, he was telling me like this is like not a shot to be fancy. This is more of a shot to better your angle. So he first taught me how to do it coming across the net. So like when you're coming across, he said reach like you're going far side. So the goalie's gonna take a step, and when he does that, you throw backhand because your stick sees a little bit more of a different angle than your forehand does. So then I started doing that, and I started scoring. Then I was lucky. I have my older brother. He's a couple years older than me, so we grew up really close, and we were outside all the time. And so we would stand there and throw backhand passes back and forth to each other. Then we would like be looking one way, and he'd be over here. So then we start throwing him that way, and then we start practicing, moving on, and building our skill set together. So by the time we got to use it in the game, we were really confident with it. So like I think of it just as another tool, and not like anything fancy at all.
It's funny because when the press get a hold of it, and the media and the sports center talk about the highlight reel things and the fancy, and it really isn't. It's just simply another tool to be used in certain situations, and you guys really use it well. And say that the 2017 Arrows in that Minto Cup, where they just dominated that entire thing, really showed when you have a good system and these tools, what can be done.
Yeah, exactly. It was fun to watch them play, and same with that group too. Like with us with the Rebels, all those guys played together all growing up, so they all had a lot of chemistry, and they just dominated that season and that year, and they were able to get the outcome that they wanted.
Right, and then the world shuts down, and we all look out from the window and go, "Gee, I hope I can get out there again."
Yeah.
Then really a brainchild of Mark Grimes, that 2-week COVID tournament over at track, which number one, it cured a lot of things that went on. Number one, it got you guys playing again.
Yeah.
Even if it was only for a couple of weeks in the bubble, but it got people who were starved to watch it get to see it again. And even though most of us couldn't get in there live because of whatever restrictions, JVI had it on, and everybody, the numbers for viewership were through the roof of everybody watching this. But most importantly, what I think for guys like you and a number of other guys was have a good tournament, and your stock goes from here to here. Another guy is one of your teammates now, Nathan Grennan. I was part of the Brampton organization on the board of directors at that point, and he had a super tournament, and his stock went to here. He got drafted, I think, 5th overall in the first round. Just from more or less, maybe a 2nd round pick, but he was there because he had just a great tournament. You had a good tournament as well, and your stock was in here as well. Let's talk about that 2-week thing and getting back on the floor. And it's your only 2 weeks with the Six Nation Arrows as well.
Yeah. So I feel like I was ready to make the jump back in 2018 or 2017. But then, like my older brother, he was a couple of years older, so I just wanted to play with him before junior was over. So that's why I played Wallaceburg and with the Rebels. And then after that, I was gonna just use 2020 and 2021 to be to play junior A and like better my skills then. But then 2020, COVID happened, and we didn't have a season, so it was pretty tough. I still made sure I got out there with my stick, made sure I was able to keep my skill set up there, and I was outside pretty much every day, just missing the game. But yeah, so in 2021, they gave us the opportunity to play in the shortened season, and it was really fun. It was good. It wasn't. We didn't have a lot of practices. We only had maybe like 2 tryouts, and then we practiced like 2 or 3 times, and then we got right into it. So we had like a younger team. It wasn't anything too crazy, but just to be able to be back in and playing again was really something that I guess I could say that I'm really thankful for, because we went like a year without it, and that's something that I've never done in my life. Like I've never took a season off from playing lacrosse. So just getting back into it and getting being able to play at the junior A level as well was something that I'm really grateful for, and I'm really happy that the OLA put that on for us, because it was able to get us back into it. And like you said, the viewership too, like everybody was able to watch it again, and kind of get that hungriness back and to your mouth about watching lacrosse again. So it was something really good, and I'm glad that they JVI broadcasted it. So I think that was huge. We only got like 2 family members allowed in the game, so
Yeah.
it was good for the rest of the family that wasn't able to make it those games, be able to watch it from home.
Absolutely. That also gave you, because we referred to this earlier about playing with bigger guys.
Mm-hmm.
This was also the litmus test also with playing with bigger guys who were ready to make that jump like you to the NLL. Talk about, as you were getting bigger and you were getting more savvy, and your lacrosse IQ already is here. Now, working with these bigger guys, really where it puts your IQ to the test on how to work around these bigger guys, because you, like me, not the biggest guys in the room, have to use other aspects to really make it work.
Yeah, so that was probably my biggest thing growing up, because I was always a smaller guy, and I didn't hit my growth spurt till I was about my first year junior playing for the Warriors. So like in midget was all those guys were like double my size, and I just had to play a different game, different style, and I never really got rid of that style because I was always a smaller guy. So I'd always have to play a little bit quicker, and then just play a little bit smarter, because I have to use their momentum against them. I have to use their strengths that they have, use that against them. And my dad would actually teach me a lot of different stuff that he would do. He's not the biggest guy either, and when he played, he was always more of a shifty guy. So he taught me a little bit of I guess you could call them cheat codes and ways to cheat that I use still in my game. And over this past week, and I just grabbing guys' sticks and throwing them out the way while they're coming at me. Their momentum the other way, I'm going, and the other way too. So I still use those skills to this day. But I feel now like in my first year in SAS, I was also really small. I think I weighed like 170, and I was in that was just more of kind of feeling the league out. Didn't know what to really expect, and playing against the bigger guys also kind of put it in my head that I can't be carrying the ball and holding them and trying to hold the guy there while the pick comes. I got to move my feet every chance I get. So it was just a kind of a learning experience that first year. My second year at the Rush, I got a little bit bigger, but not overly big, and I was able to hold my ground, stand in the middle without getting pushed right out, and then able just to set decent picks. But this year, I feel as though I feel that I'm not big, but I'm not small either. So I can hold my own. If somebody's standing in the middle trying to crash check me, I can push back, and they're not going to push me around. So it's given me a little bit more confidence. But again, I'm not the biggest guy. I'm not the fastest guy. So I can beat them with speed. I can't just overpower them. So I got to play a certain unique style that fits in my hand. So
sure, a little more shifty.
Yeah, a little bit more.
A little more IQ savvy, I think it would be.
Yeah. So it's I guess growing up, being smaller really helped me, because I was never scared of the guys that were bigger than me. I had a couple buddies that hit their growth spurt early in minor, and when they got to junior, they got like a wake up call, like, oh, I'm not the big guy anymore. They get pushed around. I kind of intimidate them a little bit, but myself, I was always small anyway, so I was like, well, who cares? Just go and get hit. So I was never.
You had your brother Johnny, who's big.
Yeah.
And he would. I'm sure he would wake you up to the fact that you have to do other things. It's like in boxing: move your head, or your opponent will move it for you. Same thing here. If you don't find a way around, you're going to get shoved.
Yeah, 100%. He still helps me out to this day with my game and everything that I need to either improve on or stuff that I can keep doing to make myself better. So I really appreciate all his help as well. And like I said, he actually had a different style of playing as well. He was a little bit more bigger. He was able to hold those guys there and set harder picks, create more room. But I feel like in the same breath that we also played really, really alike as well. I
Right.
guess IQ wise and skill wise.
You
But
both have that bounce shot too.
yeah,
It's just wild to watch. Now, my next question actually about Johnny actually is how much of an influence did he have on you and your playing? You know, his first 3 years, he won championships in the first couple of years. He was actually a finalist in the Lou Marsh Award for Canada's Best Athlete, which is astoundingly great for a lacrosse guy of any sort. But to be one from the res to get that even more, it's just that much more um, uh, grandiose. Won 2-man cups, a Minto Cup, you know, a coach and coached you. So, how much influence does he have in your day to day?
yeah. So I think he got drafted when I was 11, and at that time, I knew he was good at lacrosse. I knew he was playing junior at that time, and I knew like I wanted to be like him. And then when he got drafted, at that point I wasn't really 100% sure what the NLL was. I didn't know you could make like a career out of it, I guess, or it could be an option to play pro. And so when he got drafted, I was okay, this is pretty cool. Then we go to his first game, and it's like, okay, well, I didn't expect it to be like this. You know, like it's actual like pretty legit. It's a pro game. And so, like, I went to, I think, every home game that season, all the ones that we could drive to.
Right.
It was just, I just told myself then and there that this is where I wanted to be. And so he would always help me in the backyard. He would always be out there whenever we wanted him to. But he would also be bettering his game too. We would just go out there all together, and then he would put me and my older brother Sydney through some practices and show us different things to do while we're playing. And so it started, I guess. He started helping ever since I was small, ever since I could. Him and my dad were really big influences on my game. And like I said, now to this day, he still helps me out as much as he can. So everything that he sees while he's watching on TV,
Right.
oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. Maybe on this goal, he tried this kind of shot because they're going to be doing this or that or whatever. So he helps me out a lot still to this day. So I get a lot of
far removed from the league either. So some of those goalies he knows very well.
Yeah, exactly.
He's shot on them as well, right?
Yeah, that's what
some
he
of
is.
those defense guys or some of the other tendencies. So that's always a handy thing to have on the Rolodex to
Yeah.
And like I showed you off air, I actually have his one jersey from the Rock. So
yeah.
Johnny was always great with the fans as well. So that's another thing I'm sure he's taught you is how to be a professional and stay that way with fan bases and how to interact, and it's more to help you stay where you are up in the NLL.
Yeah, like he just set a really good example on how to be a good lacrosse player, a good person, how to be interact with the fans. Our biggest thing is we're not better than anybody. We're we're just people. So like for people to try and act like you're better than other people, it's just something that we never really liked,
Right.
like a quality. So we just always see if we see anybody in the stands and they want to talk to us, we're not just gonna blow them off. We'll talk to them, and that's how we have a lot of great friendships. And even to this day, wherever I play, there are usually a couple of people saying, "Oh, I know your brother. Like he was an awesome guy, this and that." So I'm like, that's good to hear. It makes me happy because like he was he's a good person. And he's always had that trait to him. So I just try and be like him. That's all.
Right. Also educate.
Yeah.
Being from the res and firsthand on the history of lacrosse and the history of the creators game being different things, and the education of it, and the more people know about it, the more they're attuned to native culture and all the stress in the past and how to try and smooth things over for the future. So it's a big responsibility.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's the biggest thing is just educating everybody properly, and also giving them the right information, not spreading false information or anything like that. Everything that we share, we always double check. We have a lot of knowledgeable people in our ways that we turn to whenever we given information or whenever people ask questions. If it's a question that I'm not able to answer myself, I have people that I can turn to that are elders within the community, and they'll give me the right answer to give out. So yeah,
absolutely. Now let's talk about the draft. You get drafted in 2020, first round, 7th overall. but it was during COVID. Now, instead of going to it, it was online. Now, you had a big to-do at your place.
Mhm.
Well, let's talk about that.
Yeah. So it was a great day, something that I'll always remember forever. Yeah. So my girlfriend actually she rented this big screen from somebody that was local, and they were able to hook up the computer and everything, the projector to it. So it was COVID, so we weren't allowed to have a lot of people over, but I wanted my grandpa there, so we invited him. I had my older brother, I had all my siblings there. My mom and dad were both there, and a close friend of mine. So we were, it was just a good time. It was kind of just nerve wracking getting up there and just waiting for it to start. And then finally, I got picked, and it was just like I feel like everything that I worked for my whole life just kind of paid off. But then that was just one step. I had to actually make the team. I had to
Right.
actually, perform good too. But yeah, the draft was actually really, really unique. It was fun. But I do wish it was in person because
Mhm.
I like to have one of those sweet jerseys and a hat.
Yeah.
We didn't
Walk
get-
across the stage as well. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a whole other
exactly.
thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you get drafted by Saskatchewan. What did Derek Keenan say when he called you and talked to you about what to expect, what your role would be, the direction they're going? Because obviously at that point they're starting to rebuild
Mhm.
from the championship years.
Yeah. So he just pretty much said like just play my game and do what I do. But they have a lot more of a different role that I played there than I do in Albany.
Mhm.
There I was more trying to get Mark and Ryan open and just kind of working in the middle a lot more than carrying the ball.
Right.
So it was that's all I accepted my role. That was totally fine with me. I did the best I could, and it just didn't really work out there. So I'm glad that I had the opportunity to um, go to Albany and kind of play the way I wanted to play. But
Right.
Derek Keenan, I really give a lot of respect to him, and I appreciate him for drafting me and giving me the opportunity to play for his team. And he put a lot of trust in me as well, and as a young player, kind of gave me the benefit of the doubt playing only junior B and
Mhm.
senior B, I guess. And so, he just pretty much told me to play the best I could and, just do your job. So,
Right. One of the questions I ask a lot is your very first training camp in the NLL. Was it what you expected?
yeah, it was, honestly, I think it was a little bit more easier than I expected. uh,
Really?
yeah, I thought it was going to be like, I know there is a lot of different teams that have hard training camps. So I think that's what I was like prepared for. But I thought there was going to be a lot of fitness testing, a lot of, just being sharp, this and that. But it was pretty much just like practicing. I feel like when they expected us to, because we are at the pro level, they expected us to be pros when you come in. So to be in shape, to be, have your sticks dialed in, everything dialed in beforehand. So that's why I think that their training camp was a little bit easier. They, expected us to be at that level already. And then all they wanted to do was just to see how we reacted in different scenarios and different things like that. So, it was a little bit easier than I expected, but it was also very good because I was also playing, put my skills to the test against the best.
Yeah.
That was
Did anything surprise you?
Kind of, but not really. I feel like just like the size of the guys kind of surprised me. Like that I'm playing against men and not little kids anymore. So I just had to play faster. I had to play with speed, and then also setting picks. I realized that I didn't have to just stand there and put my arms out. I could actually cross check these guys because they won't fall over. I'm not that strong at that point. But like nowadays, I can't really do that too much anymore. Else I'll blow someone up and it'll be a possession call. But yeah, just playing a little bit more tougher was probably the biggest thing that I've learned from training camp and brought into my game.
Right. You come out into Sastel, your first game with the Rush, and I'd been there many times in the years previous in playoffs and things like that. One of the loudest buildings I can remember with a low roof and 15,000 people. It really did remind me of what you're talking about seeing Johnny when he was on the championship teams in Rochester. When that place was full, it was loud. And Sastel was the same. It was just so loud. My ears are still ringing after getting off the plane back in Toronto. Your first game, and this is your first kick at big NLL crowds. What was it like?
Yeah, well, my first game was in Halifax. It was an away game. So Halifax, they have a good fan base as well.
Yeah.
And I kind of knew what to expect. I kind of just kept telling myself, okay, block out the noise, block out the noise. Don't focus on fans and this and that. So it wasn't too hard to kind of just focus on the game. I didn't really have any distractions going on. And but my first home game was something that was really really cool because we got introduced. We got introduced one by one, and all the lights, all the flames, seeing I think there probably was like 9-10,000 fans there, just cheering really loud. So it was kind of like at that point it was a dream come true. Like I just always envisioned myself running up the tunnel onto the floor and having everybody cheer for me. So that was just always like a dream come true, and I kind of just took that moment to kind of embrace it and just live in the moment at the time. But then as soon as the game started, it was just back to business and close everything out that's around me. And so I think I created a good habit doing that because to this day I still whenever I'm playing, I'm not thinking about anything. My girlfriend asks if she hears what kind of songs they got playing or if they got whatever is going on a jumbotron. I'm like, I have no idea. I just play and then focus on whatever's next on the next shift coming. So
right, it's a good way to play. It'll keep you in the league for quite a while.
Yeah.
Now you get your first goal. I think it was game 4. You had a few assists in the first couple of games, and like you said, you were setting the floor up for Mark and setting it up for Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
You finally get that first goal. Monkey's off your back. Talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I still remember. I still got the ball hanging up too. It's on the dresser. But it's it was against Rochester. It was a home game, and the play just kind of worked in my favor. We did a pick and pop, and as soon as I caught it, I knew I was gonna just go back short side, and so I just reached around the defender and threw it. And I didn't know it was in right away. It was like a split second, and I kind of just took a look around and seeing that the net moved. So knew I scored, put my hands up, and it was just I was really really pumped, really hyped, and that was kind of like a breath of fresh air. Of now I can get another one. I got my first one out of the way, so now I can just
that's
continue.
The one there. Yeah. Now you can take a breath, and now you can get back to that first one's out of the way. Now you can play. Now it's the Powless way, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's all the pressure is off me, so I was good to go after that.
Right. Also, it's great to score at home too. So you have all the fans going nuts while you're celebrating that first goal. When you have nothing but crickets, it's a whole different feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
The playoffs could be a different idea, right?
How good does it feel to? One of the big things that athletes like doing is quieting the home crowd when they're visiting.
Yeah, that's one thing that I like to do. That I even tell the guys that we play with, that's what we like to hear. We don't want to hear nobody's cheering when they're on the road. And when we go on runs, that's when we try and be loud as we can because we're trying to hype ourselves up. We don't got nobody to do it while we're on the road, so we got to hype ourselves up. Even the little things, the loose balls, the big hits, and then the goals. Just to hear them, the fans cheering, just to quiet down. It's a good feeling to me. We're doing our job, so it's
right.
It's always good to hear that silence on the road.
Now you get traded to Albany in the midst of them having all these injuries, and really, I'd like to say in a rebuild, but they're just waiting for everybody to come back, and poof, you have a really great team, as proven this year.
Yeah.
When Glenn Clark traded for you, what was he talking to you about? What was his future vision that Marshall Powless is going to be in with Albany?
Yeah, they told me right from there that they plan on keeping me for a while. They want me to play a lot of my career there, and so they liked the way I played. And before this was when I first got traded, he called me and just told me he wants me to play a big role on the offense, and that I'm gonna have the ball in my stick a lot of the times, but we don't have just one or two guys that's going to be doing it all. We're going to be working as a team. So that got me excited because that's how I always played growing up. All the teams I played on, we didn't have one or two guys that did everything. Everybody contributed as an offense. So I knew exactly how to play with the players that were around me. So when I got to Albany, I was able to play the way I wanted to and I got the result that I wanted. I did really good the last, I think, 7 games I played there.
Yeah, and that's ironically that's when they started picking up and starting to be a real force. Because originally, when all the injuries happened, they were kind of like, last place and really couldn't do much. You come in, a few other guys come in, and all of a sudden there's energy. There's that level of compete again, and you may not have won them all, but the couple of wins that you had were convincing. I remember watching you in Rochester near the end of last year, and my God, you guys put up a fight and a half.
Yeah.
On the field, off the field, everywhere. And the level of compete, you could see that once you had your mainstream guys back, that this was going to be something to watch then following year this year. And you guys didn't disappoint so far. It's to watch you guys now and say, I was at the game on Saturday. Granted, there wasn't a lot of scoring, but to watch you guys operate offensively and to maneuver, if you got defensemen that are flat-footed, they're going to be, well, they might as well buy a ticket because you guys are just moving continuously.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that's the kind of style we got to play because we got a lot of young guys on our team, and we're not very big. We're not big, strong guys that can move defenders out the way. So we got to play smarter. We got to play a little bit faster, and like you said, getting back all the defense. And I think last year, me and Ethan Walker and Johnny Piatelli are the only 3 offensive guys that are on the team now this year. So we have like a whole new offense, and that also I guess helped with our success this year because we don't really have the 1-2 guys that you can lock off, because if you try to lock 1 or 2 guys off, the other guys are just going to do the scoring. So we're all spread out all the way across the board, which is really, really good. Our defense, and we have Doug, they hold us in every game. So it's not really it's kind of hard when if we have maybe a defense that isn't very good, or a goaltending that's not very good, then it's like you have to try and pick up the slack. But with us, we're spread out all across, and got good defense, good goaltending, good offense. All we have to do now is just kind of figure out how to put together a full 60 minutes. We have glimpses of excellence throughout our game, but then there's also times where it's like we're really stale. We don't really move too much. We settle for an outside shot or something like that, or maybe our defense.
Yeah, I noticed that on Saturday. You had about 52 minutes worth of quality time out of that 60. That 8 minutes did you in. That was the second quarter, and it just things kind of snowballed for a few minutes there, and then you guys righted the ship, and you were tougher to play in the second half than you were even in the first quarter, which I thought you guys played dynamite.
Yeah, like it was. It was a good game. We had our looks in the first quarter as well. We had lots of looks in the middle. We just, Rosie was playing really good. But then the biggest thing for us, which has been the problem the last couple of games, was having to play catch up. We dig ourselves a hole, and it's like now we got to score 3, 4, 5 goals in a row, or 3, 4, 5 goals to try and get back into this game, which is what we end up doing. We don't we haven't been getting blown out. We're still in it 2 or 3 goals. But it's just something that, like you said, the 8 minutes where we take off is where what really costs us in the end of the result. So once we find a way to put that full 60 minutes together, and it's good that it's happening now and not in playoffs, because this is the
now is more of a character builder.
If
you guys can get if you guys can get through this part and get into the playoffs with the ship righted, then if something goes wrong in a playoff game, it's not the roof falling in. You guys have been there, you know it. Like you say, you're a young team, but your transition game is great because you're young legs.
Yes.
Having Colton as your captain, I love him. He's been on my other show. He's coming on this one. It's terrific to he's just such a great leader and from experience.
Yeah.
And he's worked his way up too through Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
So,
he's
go ahead.
Yeah, he's a really good leader. We're lucky to have him as a captain on our team. He's good at being verbal, but he's also a leader by example. Like if you need a big hit, or you need a big play, even a big goal, he's always the one to kind of put us on his back and say, "Let's go. We're not done yet, so keep on going." And us watching him play hard makes us okay. We got to pick it up. Let's go now. So he's a good leader to have. He's a great guy to be around, and just a great guy to talk to. He's a really good person.
Right. And of course, the organization is strong. We've had Oliver Marty on before, and we talked about his NLL career or MILL career and his vision, and very clear vision. And you know, it's another one of the great owners in the league to play for. When you don't have to worry, when they have the, it's not about money. He
Yeah.
understands the game to go with it. So it must
Mhm.
be a lot easier for you guys to go day in day out when you have that from the top working
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think we all just we're all hungry for that championship. We're all hungry to win. So I think once everybody's on board, and everybody is able to, play the full 60 minutes, everyone's all buying in, then we're gonna have a lot of great success.
And you
But
get
yeah.
Dyson Williams next year on top of that to boot, which is another number one draft pick to throw in there just to bolster everything
Mhm.
in there. And I imagine it'll be the way he plays. It's pretty characteristic of the game that you guys play already. So
Mhm.
it's not going to be a change of style or anything for him to worry about. So all you guys are going to just mesh together. Plus, you guys are another year savvy.
Yeah, yeah, he brings a big size as well. I grew up playing against Dyson my whole life. I think we're the same age, so it was always whenever we played Whitby, it was always shut this guy off. You can't don't give him the time and space because he's gonna use it and he's gonna make us pay for it. But to have him on our side of the floor, he's gonna be good, and he's gonna, like you said, the way he's a team guy, but he's also a bigger body and fast, so he's gonna be able to give us that edge of like. I guess leadership, a little bit better leadership on the front end, and
Also
being
going to
able.
draw a lot of attention, which will free up you guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then he can create a lot of nothing, or a lot of stuff out of nothing.
Yeah.
Even playing against him in senior A as well, he's just can take it right to the net and beat defenders easily. So it's going to be fun having him on the team next year for sure.
What are some of the,
Sorry, go ahead, Frank.
That's okay. What are some of the things that it just flew out of my head? Go ahead, Gary. It just flew out of my head.
Okay. Another thing I noticed in there with your fan base, not the biggest one in the league yet, but it is growing, and I found it to be rather loud. They are savvy. They do have lacrosse IQ. Meeting up with the fan base, do you find that? Do you find that they are getting more educated as the season's going along?
Yeah. Last year was it was pretty rough. We weren't doing good. We didn't win a single home game last year. So that was tough for us because we didn't know what to expect this year. We didn't know it was going to be the same, like 600 fans or however much
Right.
it was last year. But once we started doing good, we started playing. We started winning. That brought out a lot of fans, and it just like you said, it's not a big lacrosse community too much. There's not box lacrosse anyways. Field lacrosse is kind of big out this way or out that way, but not box lacrosse. So a lot of people that were just kind of giving it a shot, and we were doing good at the first 10 or first however many games of the season. So it kind of drew a lot more of attention for us, and the marketing team has been doing great. Making us look good, getting everybody to come out and just watch a game, and then that's how you get people hooked because they like it, and then they keep coming out. So it's been a lot more better this year. There's been a lot of fans that have come to make the place nice and loud. So we really appreciate that as players because that helps us with our momentum.
Sure. Do they have you doing grassroots programs and youth programs?
No, not me personally. Usually it's like the people that live in market.
Right.
So it'd be like Sam Firth and Ty Kurtz, Justin Getty, all those guys. That's what I do for my day job is just going to different schools and lacrosse and stuff like that. So
right,
yeah.
Rising Stars still.
Yes, yeah.
Talk about that for a few minutes because I want to hit about that. I also want to hit about your musical instrument making.
Okay.
I don't want to be remiss on that either. But you go to schools, you talk about it, you show kids how to pass, how to shoot, and give them a history lesson.
Yeah. So we start with the history. I actually bring my own stick in here that I can't always keep on me. Just kind of show them, I guess like a replica of a stick that would somewhat look like the ones that we used to use. Give them the history lesson of the creator's game, where it came from, and then the medicine game, and then into lacrosse. Just the transition throughout the years, I guess. So with being able to do that, they're able to have a better understanding of lacrosse, especially because a lot of them, especially in Hamilton, don't really play lacrosse, so they're not really uh, educated on it. But now they know the background of it. It's something that they've had to be able to play as a new sport for them, and it was actually really good. I seen like 2 or 3 kids this past summer at the arena that was at one of my camps through the schools, and they said, like playing lacrosse in the gym was something that I've like sparked my interest, and so like I've had their parents come up and say like, yeah, ever since then he wanted to play lacrosse, so they signed him up for lacrosse. So it's starting to grow the game, which is I guess the whole intention of it, and it was really good, and yeah, I do different indigenous programming with Rising Stars as well. So it's not just lacrosse that I run; it's different indigenous programs to kind of eliminate stereotypes that the non-natives might have on us.
Sure. Now let's talk about this musical instrument, the horn rattle. You did this with your grandfather, and now you're continuing this along.
Yeah. So he passed away in 2021. And when I was about 12 years old is when I started going over there by myself. With my mom would drop me off, and it started off by just going there to split wood for him in the wintertime. So he has firewood for his wood stove.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just would ask me like, would you want to try work on a drumstick, which is like very simple. So I was like, sure. Then he'd give it to me, carve it out. And he started me with pine, which is it's a really easy wood to carve. But you can mess up a lot on it if you if you let it. So he said, once you get good at that, then I'll give you some of the harder wood to work with, and then you're able to actually make like some legitly. So there's trial and error. There's a lot of drumsticks that went right into the fire that I made, and then same with the rattles too that we do. The rattles were very challenging, but again, I had to start it from the bottom, start at the pine, and then there's a lot of them that he snapped and just threw in the fire because they weren't good enough, and then just working at it with him was always something that was really fun. But nowadays, it's not. I don't have him around, so I didn't have him when I started back up doing them again. I didn't have like the guidance that I had before. So from I guess 12 to about 18 years old, I was kind of over there consistently working on them. Got really good at making them, and then from like 18 to about 21. I didn't really have too much time to go stop over there and make so many drums, make so many rattles and stuff like that. So I kind of lost a lot of time. But then when he passed away, I realized a couple of months after that, like nobody was doing them, like none of my family members. And so I kind of like felt sad because that's something that he always wanted someone to pass down to. So sure. I just I just asked my aunties one day if the shop was still open and if I'm able to go there and try carve some stuff up, and they said yeah. So I went down there, and then I actually made a couple of them, and I started, posted on social media, and then I started having people message and ask for some. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll start this back up. So now, actually, that's where I just came from before this interview. I was down there, and I have a big order for elementary school, about 28 rattles that they wanted. So it's something that's.
You compare this to a maraca, yeah?
Yeah.
What's it used for? I know it's for some sacred ceremonies, indigenous.
Yeah.
What else would you be using it for?
You can just use it to sit around the house and sing. We have what's called social songs, which is no ceremonial meaning behind it. It's songs for us to come around, have some fun, sing and dance, keep us out of trouble. And that's when you would be using the horn rattle and the water drum and stuff like that, just to dance around and sing with that. So
I really want to appreciate you taking the time. I really want to thank you for taking the time to talk lacrosse and also life with us. We wish you the best for the upcoming playoffs, and of course for the rest of your NLL career and then some.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on the show. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for doing this, Marshall.
No problem. Thank you.
And Gary, as usual, thanks for doing this.
Thanks, Frank. It's always a pleasure talking lacrosse.
Absolutely. I'm Candid Frank Stanisci. Thank you for watching NLL Lacrosse Talk on behalf of Gary Groob and Marshall Powless. This is seen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. This show can also be heard on the Spanglish World Radio Network. For lacrosse talk, news, entertainment, and other sports programming we offer, please check out SpanglishWorld.ca. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Pick up a stick and enjoy some lacrosse. Why don't you?